Good afternoon from Washington, D.C. This is Congressman Dan Meuser, and welcome to my weekly update. A little over 100 days ago, I attended President Biden's inauguration at the United States Capitol. That day, President Biden pledged that his administration would govern with unity and bipartisanship. In the time since, the Biden administration and the Democrat leadership have done the opposite. They've chosen a partisan, go-it-alone approach on everything, from a so-called rescue plan, which received not one Republican vote and had very little to do with rescue or recovery. We did that in the previous year. To the crisis at our southern border, to their recent multi-trillion-dollar transportation infrastructure proposal, which has very little to do with transportation infrastructure. Since their first day in office, the Biden administration has issued dozens of job-killing executive orders, more than any other administration since FDR's, that have increased government overreach and regulation at the expense of American workers. Among these orders was the halting of construction on the Keystone XL pipeline, a decision that directly cut thousands of good-paying jobs and rattled the energy prices. We all see that at the gasoline pump. These unilateral executive orders place progressive priorities above the livelihoods of everyday Americans. No less destructive were the Biden administration's decision to repeal the effective immigration policies of the Trump administration, leading to a catastrophe at our Mexican border. I visited the border last month, very unlike our vice president or president, and witnessed the humanitarian crisis caused by the Biden administration policy changes. This situation was entirely avoidable and must be corrected immediately, and it can be. Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have demonstrated no inclination towards bipartisanship. In 2020, Congress, in a very bipartisan manner, allocated $3.7 trillion in targeted COVID relief that supported struggling families and businesses, developed vaccines, reinforced our hospitals as we combated the COVID-19. In their first days in office, Democrat leadership pushed through a completely partisan bill totaling nearly $2 trillion, of which less than 10% went towards defeating the virus or vaccinations. This unprecedented level of spending is dangerously excessive, causing inflation as we speak, and has made bringing back to work the number one problem small businesses have faced as they strive to recover. They can't get the workers back. If a $2 trillion new spending bill is not enough to add to our astronomical deficit, the Biden administration is now pushing an additional $4 trillion in liberal wish list spending disguised as human infrastructure. Far less than 10% of this human infrastructure plan goes towards rebuilding our roads, bridges, highways, broadband, ports, airports, and waterways. Instead, over 90% of this bill, including $600 billion for the expansion of Medicaid and Obamacare subsidies, $175 billion for electric vehicles and charging ports, and over $500 billion to implement Green New Deal mandates, including a new 10,000-member civilian climate corps. The Biden administration plans to pay for these extreme left proposals with your money by raising your taxes on now millions of American families and businesses, large and small. Everyone will be affected by these tax increases, despite what the administration says. Watch what they do, not what they say. By raising the corporate tax rate, goods made in America will be far less competitive with those manufactured in other parts of the country. That's just the facts. Washington Democrats like to talk about making more products in the U.S., but these policies will push manufacturing overseas. That's the reality. Additionally, raising taxes on pass-through small businesses is a business killer and a job killer. The left loves having the golden eggs, but their policies will certainly kill the golden goose, which is the private sector. At a time when our nation economy are in recovery, the idea of significant tax increases to pay for these left-wing proposals is an upside-down policy agenda that will certainly not repatriate businesses, but only export American jobs. We must unite to revitalize our communities, expand broadband, modernize our roads, bridges, highways, airports. For all of that and other gateways to growth and innovation, not exploit this opportunity to deconstruct America and pass a $4 trillion one-party wish list that will raise taxes, impose unrealistic Green New Deal mandates, and add trillions to our national debt. I will do my best to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, bipartisan basis, to implement policies that will accelerate our recovery and create a private sector-driven economic boom that will strengthen America and benefit all Americans. I also want to recognize that this week is National Police Week. On Tuesday, I was honored to join police officers from Lebanon County at a ceremony organized by Lebanon District Attorney Pierre Hesgraff, who did a great job honoring officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in Lebanon County and across America. Also this week, I joined many Republican colleagues in U.S. Capitol Police on a really interesting and fun bike tour that led to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial here in Washington, where we honored our nation's fallen police officers. As the son of a former police officer, my dad, Detective Stanley Meuser, I know the tremendous sacrifices our police officers and their loved ones make. This week and always, we owe our continued support to Back the Blue to our police officers and their families in Pennsylvania and across America, especially those who have never returned home. God bless them. Thank you for tuning in to my weekly update. Remember, to keep the faith. We will most certainly keep up the fight. Thank you, and see you soon.